Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to part 2 of Completing the Square. If you have not watched part 1 yet of Completing the Square, please stop this video now and go back to part 1. That way you will learn some basic information on completing the square that will allow you and help you to understand completing the square as it is. So now we know how to complete the square. We know how to find that plus c value. So what are you going to do? How are you going to solve using this? So here's a typical problem, x squared plus 4x plus 1. Well, this doesn't solve using factoring. So your very first step on every single completing the square problem is you want to get rid of this plus 1 that's hanging out there. So you're going to subtract him to both sides, okay? And you're going to be left with x squared plus 4x, and then you're going to put a big plus blank on both sides, okay? Now, you were finding blank in the last video. Let's find blank. So I'm going to take my b term, divide him by 2, and square it. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4. So I'm going to put blank of 4. 4 is going to be my blank. Now, please make sure that you put 4 on both sides. Blank is the same answer on both sides. Now what you're going to want to do, you see this side over here. It's factorable. So let's factor. My AC is 1 times 4, so my AC is 4, and I need to make 4. Well, 4 times 1 will make 5. What about 2 and 2? So I'll have 1x squared plus 2x plus 2x plus 4. Make my box here. There we go. Looks like I got an x that way, x this way, 2 that way, and 2 that way. So I'll have x plus 2 equals, and then we can combine this. Negative 1 plus 4, well, that's just 3. X plus 2 times x plus 2, well, a short way to write that would be x plus 2 squared equals 3. Right? Because it's basically saying I'm just going to multiply them together. So now you know how to solve this. X plus 2 squared. You've solved this before. So you're going to square up both sides. And you're going to be left with x plus 2 equals plus or minus. Don't forget that. Square root of 3. Subtract 2 from both sides. And we're going to get x equals negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 3. And I have solved my answer for completing the square. Let's try another example. The leading coefficient is 1, aka this is a big 1, big 1 in front, okay? Same thing, you're going to want to subtract this over to the other side. So to make room for your blank, like that. Now let's find what blank is. So that would be negative 12 divided by 2 squared. Well, negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6. Negative 6 squared is 36. There you go. So my AC, because I got a factor over here, 1 times 36, AC equals 36, and I need to make negative 12. Negative 6 and negative 6 should do it, because if I add negative 6 and negative 6, I'll get negative 12, but if I multiply, I'll get a positive. So, let's rewrite. And then negative 4 plus 36 is 32. Let's go ahead and box that over there. So I'll get x squared, negative 6x, and 36. So fill in my sides here. Yeah. So I'll get x minus 6, right? Around the edges. Well, basically that's x minus 6 squared equals 32. You're always going to get that duplicate that's going to happen. You should never have two that are not the same once you factor, because that's something that's going to happen always in completing the square. Now we can solve. So I'm going to square up both sides. We'll be left with x minus 6 equals plus or minus the square root of 32. Now, 32, I think, has a perfect square. 16, I think we'll do with the trick. Square root of 16, well, that's just 4. So I'd have 4 square roots of 2. So if I write up here, I got x minus 6 equals plus or minus 4 square roots of 2. So it looks like we need to add 6 to both sides, and I'll get x equals 6 plus or minus 4 square roots of 2. Final answer. What if there's a number in front of the x squared? What you need to do is a simple little tiny step extra. You need to divide it away. So I'm going to divide by 2. Like that. Well, 2x squared, that's just gone. I'm left with x squared. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And 14 divided by 2 is 7. Now it's just completing the square problem like we were doing before. So you're going to subtract 7. Make room for blank. There you go. 4 divided by 2 squared to find my blank. 4 divided by 2, 2. 2 squared, 4. Factor this on this side. So AC of 4. 2 and 2 should make 4. Negative 7 plus 4 is negative 3. Let's go ahead and box that side. So we get x, x, 2, and 2. Right? Yeah. So we'll get x plus 2 squared, right? Because x plus 2 times x plus 2 is x plus 2 squared. Got a negative 3 right there. Looks like I get a square root. Ooh! I get to bring our friend I in because I got a negative square root of negative 3. Oh joy. So I'll get x plus 2 equals the plus or minus. Almost forgot that. Silly Marsh. Square root of negative 3. So let's take out that negative here. So plus or minus I square roots of 3. And then it looks like we get to subtract 2. Move up here. So I get x equals negative 2 plus or minus I square roots of 3. Just like that. So, some steps to complete the square. In case you want to have these written down in your notes, just so you have an idea of what to do first, second, third, stuff like that. So number 1, you need to make sure the leading coefficient is 1. So basically, make sure the number in the front of x squared is a 1. Then move to the c to the other side. The c that's in place there, you got to kick him to the other side to complete your blank. So then you're going to complete blank, you're going to find what blank is, and add to both sides. Solve, so basically factor, and then start solving. Don't forget when you square root, you get that plus or minus, alright? Don't forget. And that's the end of this video. See you later, Sabers.